Rocky Russo and stars broadcaster Cristiano Simonetta on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello. Happy Tuesday, 93.7 FM listeners and watchers. I'm Cristiano Simonetta, the voice of Lincoln Stars, joined alongside by not Rocky Russo. He is off tonight, but Stars president Lori Crocker, my boss, is joining me. Lori, what's going on? Thank you so much for taking time out of your Tuesday night.
Sure.
Like, we've done this before, Lori, where you come on, whether it's my broadcast this year, remember that, for a period, and you weren't nervous about that. You've had your own unofficial podcast when the pandemic was going on. You would host a show called Snake and the Rooster podcast with Sydney, your old assistant.
Yep.
And so you have plenty of media experience. I'd say you're on channel 10 and 11 every other week for 5 seconds, right?
Right. That's thanks to you.
Yes, but
you
so
know how much I love being on TV.
Yes, and you were on TV with the dog the last time. It was Pucks and Paws night, and you got featured.
Yes.
So
Yep.
do you ever get nervous when the cameras are on and stuff like that?
Well, it's obviously a little uncomfortable.
A little. But nothing too crazy, because I, like all the players, Carter, I vet everybody in the office, everybody on the ice, because it's an essential skill to have. And especially when the news has 5 different microphones in your face, you're going to want to be prepared and not say a stupid thing. And I don't think you've done perfectly.
I've felt really stupid.
Okay, well, that's
but
different. Carter?
It's always better when you're the one interviewing.
Okay, well,
it's much easier.
Well, Carter, you're a student, right? Still. So how have you felt about getting comfortable more and more in front of, whether it's a video camera or an actual camera?
That hasn't been too bad. Actually, before I came to college, I started doing my own podcasts and stuff like that. So but back then though, it definitely took me a while. I was very choppy, but now I think I'm a little smoother, so that's good.
Yeah, well, you got the voice for it. People say I don't have a voice for it. I never have thought I had. I don't think. Yeah, but I don't.
Voice of the Stars.
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever actually had a voice where it's like Carter's. You can tell it's smooth. It's like 1980s Lakers basketball. I could picture you calling. But no, we're here to talk about some Lincoln Stars hockey, as well as, some off the ice stuff, Lori, which you've been so a part of. But let's go and take it all the way back from step one. You are a Lincolnite through and through, right?
Yep.
Where did you grow up? Let's get
Lincoln.
that origin story for you.
Lincoln.
Yeah. But what were you doing as a kid? Because you weren't doing the typical things that a woman your age at the time was doing in this city.
Well, I don't know. How far back you want to go?
All the way back. Let's go all the way back. Yes, the Lori Crocker
Mm-hmm.
Show tonight on Outside the Box.
Well, I've always been in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I went to Lincoln High.
Okay. What'd you like about high school?
Actually, high school was a really good time. I had a lot of really close friends that we actually stay in touch for the last, I don't know if I want to date myself. To say
a long time.
Let's
ago.
just say I've surpassed the 25-year reunion,
Okay.
so we'll leave it there. But there's a group of girlfriends that actually pretty much every day we still have this group chat that goes on. So made some really good friendships there, and for Lincoln High, it's been, I think, one of the very it's a really diverse school, and it was just had some really good history there.
Yeah, but also when you were younger, you were a race car driver.
Yes.
So we have to get into that, because you look at her and she's wearing her sweatpants and her baggy sweatshirt. She doesn't dress anything like this on game days, but I appreciate her coming in. She looks fantastic. But you behind the wheel of a race car, how did that interest first come about?
Well, my dad actually has always raced cars, so I've always grew up at the racetrack. So that's where I always was, in the garage or at the racetrack with my dad. Fun fact, some people might know, my dad is actually in the Auto Racing Hall of Fame.
Wait a minute. I didn't even know this.
You didn't
What?
know this?
Wait,
Okay.
what?
So he's in the Nebraska Auto Racing Hall of Fame,
That's
which is at the
awesome.
Speedway Museum here in town.
Okay.
So
haven't been there yet. Carter, have you made that stop yet?
I've not.
Okay, we'll have to do that.
It's a really cool place. There's not just race cars, and there's a lot, it's a shout out to Speedway Museum.
Wow.
It's a really cool place. And then the Auto Racing Hall of Fame is in there. So my dad's got a little plaque, and I actually wrote his little, what do you call it? Biography or something, whatever, when he got inducted and all of that thing. So yeah, I did my little journalism. there for that.
Yes, and then your journalism pedigree stopped right there. And then
That's it.
how did you? And then where'd you go to college after that, or where was your secondary school after Lincoln High?
So I went to Southeast Community College actually for radiology. So I was in the healthcare field and did CAT scan for, I don't know, almost 20 years. Went and finished up my bachelor's at Bryan College of Health Sciences. So I did a bachelor's there and a minor in healthcare management. So that was the route I thought my life was going in, with some, life things that had happened along the way that kind of deterred me that way. And then more life things happened and got out of healthcare, not really by choice at that point, and just had to kind of start over and did some other things. And here I am.
You're listening to Lori Crocker, Stars president on 93.7 FM, The Ticket. Outside the box, Rocky Russo not on the show tonight. We'll hopefully see him next Tuesday. So then, after you're in the radiology field here, how does the Lincoln Stars hockey team pop up on your radar?
Actually, kind of like through a networking group. I didn't know like the Lincoln Stars were like hiring. I didn't apply even for the job. There's just some local like colleagues that knew that had been doing some work with Ryan Schiff, our past owner, and kind of just hooked us up and said, "Oh, I think she'd be a good fit for you. Why don't you talk to her or whatever?" And so, I don't know, 3 meetings later, here I am.
And when was that?
That was in 2018, in like November, December.
And Carter, that was a very different time for the Lincoln Stars. It was a team that I wasn't here for that either. I had come in 2019. The team was winning 12 games out of 64 in 2018-19. And what was the biggest question mark or problem you had to solve in your early tenure that I assume several people listening to this show that maybe have never been to a Stars game since went to Stars games because of?
You really want me to say all you can eat?
Yeah. Because when I came here, Lori, I did not believe it. Carter, do you know what we're talking about?
I do not.
All right. Well,
so when I started, they were doing all you can eat hockey. So like you bought I think it was if you bought at least a group of like 5 or more or something like that. I can't remember. Or and if you were a season ticket holder, you got all you can eat hockey. So you could come to the game and it was all
anything
you
want as much as you want. It was
hot dogs, hamburgers, pulled pork, one other thing, chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
And pop, soda, whatever you call it. So it was it was very interesting to obviously keep up with and I got thrown in literally in the middle of the season. Things were a little out of control or on fire, whatever you want to call it. So we did our best I did my best to kind of help clean it up and at least get to where maybe we had enough food, because there was enough food and too much food. And then, of course, people are upset if there was all you can eat and you couldn't. So, but now we just kind of laugh about all you can eat because there's a lot of just funny stories, because there was, I don't know who it was, but so you could only hamburgers, no cheeseburgers. So people wanted cheeseburgers.
Oh,
of course, you didn't have cheese. So I guess there was a fan every week that brought a piece of cheese like in his pocket with him so he could make himself a cheeseburger. It's kind of funny now. And then, it was funny. They put, social media now, they would take, I don't know how many pulled pork sandwiches. They're like, "Hey, everybody, if you get the pulled pork and, you can take like 5 of them home, they last you like all week and you can have a pulled pork sandwich for lunch every day." So it was just like, hilarious. Oh, wow. So there was, it's funny now.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're never doing it again.
You did stabilize it though at the end of that season, which was crazy.
We got it at least, manageable.
Yeah, but
then said, I begged, please, can we not do this next year?
Oh my gosh.
And we have not.
Yeah, we're live with Stars president Lori Crocker on 93.7 The Ticket. You have a question, you can call in, you could text in Lori, myself, or Carter, producer Carter. Don't leave him out of the conversation. 402-464-5685. That's 402-464-5685. Do you remember the process with me coming out of the team in August of 2019? Do you remember it well? Like, is that something you think, wow, this organization really changed? No, I'm just kidding. Do you remember that though?
Yeah, it was like a day in history.
No, seriously. Like, do you remember that process?
I
You've
mean,
hired so many. That's a problem. There's
I'm
been
telling
so
you,
much turnover,
there.
and it was really quick. My hiring process.
Well, and when I got here in 2018, they hired me, and then there was nobody.
Mhm.
Everybody kind of had been let go, whatever. So we had to rebuild and get people on, and everybody kind of jumped ship, and people were running and screaming for their lives, and so it was. And we have been through a lot of people.
Yeah, we have.
So I have done a lot of hiring and firing the same, I guess.
Yeah, but in my 3 years, I mean, aside from the pandemic that happened, I mean, we had 3,000 plus people. One of the last games before the pandemic, which was something we weren't seeing the season before. We were a good team. We scored the most goals in the West, and then this crazy thing called COVID happens, and it puts everything. I mean, that is a moment that will live. Like, do you remember when we were at Granite City, that player appearance? Because you had Travis Treelor, who is on at Ohio State, just an outstanding forward for us, led us in points in 2019-20. Do you remember that moment where the NBA season was shutting down and we looked at each other and said, well, there's no way we're starting?
No, it was just the most bizarre thing. And what was very frustrating is obviously we were coming off of a terrible
it's okay. You could say it. Yeah.
Season, whatever.
Terrible.
I mean, on the hockey side, that's, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, also on the business side, it was not great, obviously. All you can eat. There was just a lot of things. A lot of people got let go. And so it was kind of a mess. And so that was not really a normal year for me at all. And then the next year was supposed to be my first full season. And then we were finally kind of, I felt like on our, on the road to recovery somewhat. And then we got shut down, and we had 9 home games. We had lost the most in the league home games. So that's just, and it's just completely slap in the face. It's just over. It's done. So, that was even tough for families, everyone, billets, everything. It's all of a sudden, oh, we're done. And we hadn't done billet night. We hadn't done anything. No one was prepared, and they're like, send players home out of here. So it's been I haven't had a normal year yet.
No, like,
because then last year was COVID still.
1,000 people in the building we were capped off at.
We had so many restrictions, and you had to, and that was just a whole nother nightmare in itself with all the mandates and what you can do, what you can't do. And then we started off this season somewhat the same, and I was like, no.
And how has this season been, though, after, we've been able to get back to 100% capacity, and we've had some really, really big crowds, the biggest of my tenure, at least over 3 years.
We've had some really good crowds, which has been good. So I feel like we're kind of on the road to recovery again. And let's not just go back there. So it'd be really nice to have, we've almost had a normal year this year. Most of the season, we were a little bit handcuffed the first half of the season, but after February, I feel like they kind of loosened up on some things, so that has helped.
And you're no longer a billet parent anymore, but you were the past 2 seasons. So for people that have heard us talk about host families and billets on the show before, just kind of give a brief 60-second summary of what a billet parent is.
Well, all of our billet families are super important part of our organization because they obviously house these players that come from everywhere, other countries, everything. So, it's a place where they have to feel comfortable and feel like it's a home here. So it's important, and we feed them a lot. So that's important to boys to eat. So, we're looking to always grow our billet program because it is really important to have a nice, secure home and a place for these players to, go home and have their own space, so to speak, that they can actually call home while they're here. So, we're always looking for more people.
And your husband, Ryan, is in the studio right now, remaining silent. This is probably the longest I've ever seen Ryan without a peep, but that's because he knows that our producer, Carter, would, kill him if he said a word. No, I'm kidding. But were you or Ryan hesitant when that conversation was brought up and Travis Treelor was a kid at camp? Like, what was that decision making like?
Well, actually, we hadn't really thought about it. It's just that I was doing all of this, running around of all these boys at camp because they didn't have cars and they had this, and we needed people like picked up from hotels and whatever else. So we were kind of put on Travis duty to pick him up for camp every day, and then a couple others. But I don't know. It was just kind of one of those things. We just hit it off. He was a great kid, and he's the one that asked us, have you ever done that? Have you ever had players? And we're just like, no. And we just talked about it, and he talked to us about it. And then there were some other kids that kind of mentioned it, and I don't know. So we kind of got to know Travis over 3 days, and then we just decided, well, we talked to the coach and we said maybe we would. And luckily I have a little poll around here. I could pick who I wanted. And then it just kind of went off from there. So, and we'll probably be back to billeting next year.
And I know it's a tough topic for you to talk about, but what was that like during that season to say goodbye to Travis so abruptly and so quickly? And he was here a little longer, correct? Because he couldn't go back home to his family in Norway.
Yeah, so he had to go back to Norway. So that was a whole nother thing, because then all of a sudden flights were shutting down. You couldn't get here, couldn't get there. So it started to get a little, obviously didn't want him to go, but it started to get a little nervous, because it's like, how are we going to get him out of here, right? How are we going to get this poor kid home? Because he does need to go to his family. So it was rough the first year, because we got really close, not only to Travis, but to his whole entire family.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Darren and Annette if they're listening.
Yep. We actually got to see them this year in Ohio. So it was nice to see them. So it was tough because you weren't prepared for it. Everything just got stopped. I mean, everything. Work was weird. We have no games. What are we going to do? What's going on? The whole world's shutting down. Now, all of a sudden, Travis has got to leave. Plus, all the other billets are kind of upset. What's going on? So we didn't even get a full year in the first time. So it was tough. It was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be to send him home.
Carter, where were you at your life during that point of time? Do you remember that day that Rudy Gobert contracted coronavirus and everybody, kind of went crazy and hectic?
Well, so I grew up in rural North Dakota. And so when it first kind of started hitting, we kind of just assumed that we wouldn't have anything to do with it, because we're like, how's it going to get here? Like, this isn't going to affect us.
Going to North Dakota.
we figured we'd have an extra week of spring break and we'd be back in school. That's kind of what we assumed. I mean, I was sitting in our local movie theater, and then we got a notification on our phones that school is going to extend spring break for another week. And we were like, oh, okay, don't really care, whatever. And then after that week went, and then they said we're going to extend it again. And then I think after the second extension, they just said we're going to go online for the rest of the semester. But I'll be honest, I was very lucky. I had one of the best probably experiences with it than a lot of people did, because again, we were still in rural North Dakota. So even though we shut down school and stuff like that, we could still go to the grocery store. And we had all our supplies there. We didn't have to go through as many of the shortages as some people did, and we could still kind of live our lives for the most part. But I mean, it obviously changed, but it wasn't as bad as others had it.
Yeah, I went straight to Illinois because who knows? Because I'm from the northwest suburbs of Chicago. But we would have Zoom meetings. You remember that? We would celebrate on Fridays.
We would have Friday FACs via Zoom.
Yes. Yes. It was a really fun time. And one of our first things was we would paint or draw and color in coloring books for older families and senior citizens in the city of Lincoln.
Yeah, there was a couple nursing homes we did.
It was awesome.
Coloring.
And I drew a crab, and I don't know why that memory is going to be ingrained in my head forever, that I had a blue Sharpie and just colored in this crab. And in March of 2020, it's just
we went from hockey to coloring.
Oh man,
that's what we had to resort to.
But then you took in 3 kids the next year.
Yes.
So you go from one Norwegian Swede, Travis Treelord, to a couple Canadians. Well, actually, all 3 Canadians, right?
No.
Or who am I missing here? Clay.
Clay Hannes was.
Oh yeah, Clay's the American who
played
in
Minnesota.
Yeah, of
so
course.
I told him,
what
I was like, I guess I'll take it.
2 Canadians.
I'll take it, buddy.
and
I like
Clay.
the foreigners.
Yes. And how was that just for you guys going from 1 kid to 3? That means way more meals, even though Travis did eat 5 or kids.
Yes,
worth
9
of,
hot dogs at one sitting.
Exactly, and pregame M&Ms too.
Yes, but well, we had just 2. We had Kraft and Cooley first, and just had those 2. So that was actually good. I actually liked having 2. They kept it very entertaining at home, so that's for sure. And then we of course, like I said, we're short on billet families.
Mhm.
So it was kind of one of those things, we need places to put these kids. So we took in Clay, which was actually a great addition. And so it was just kind of like a comedy club, honestly, just watching the three of them. So, but it's got to be tough right now because everything is so out of control, like food, you know what I mean? Inflation, food, everything costs so much money. I can't even imagine feeding three of them now because it's unreal the amount of food that you make.
And you have someone like Patty Johnson, who's our billet coordinator, who has done an unbelievable job. She's been billeting since 1999.
Yes, and she's had 4 kids the last 2 years.
It's crazy. But without her and yourself, we don't have a team.
No, we have a lot of families that thankfully can take 3. And it's some that would take more, but you got to have room for them. We're not packing 3 kids in a room. They got to have, they need a place to go. They're together all day long. You don't want to just go home and have to share a room with somebody. So it's one of those things, like I said, thankfully we have some people that can actually take that many. And I don't know, having 4, you think you'd have to just quit your job and stay home and just cook all day.
Carter, do we have any questions so far yet? Just some answers to our Great Clips trivia question that we'll get to in segment 2 and 3.
We definitely have some answers.
And yeah, let's not spoil it.
Yeah.
Let's not spoil it because I know people have been just piling in the answers to our Great Clips trivia question of the night, which is
It's a really good question.
What is Lori's bulldog's name? He is the unofficial mascot of the Lincoln Stars. If you know it, text 402-464-5685 for a chance to win tickets to Friday night's game against Omaha. And please get your tickets soon because that game is flying off the shelves ticket-wise, which it's awesome. It's the last Omaha game of the year, second to last home game. Lori, has there been a home game for you this year, whether it's promotion, whether what happened in the game? I know you don't get to watch the game too much unless you're in the penalty box.
Right.
Well, actually, let's just go there. When you're in the penalty box, the most, appropriate story that's been the best, what do you think has come from that experience of being right in the penalty box during a pretty competitive hockey game between two teams?
It's pretty interesting sometimes. I feel like when I'm working the penalty box that the boys are a little more
behaved.
It's funny because games get heated and they do what they do and say what they say, and sometimes I think it was it Gleb? I think it was Gleb.
Like
I'm not sure, but they came in, it was this year, they were chirping each other because the other guy was going in the other box and whatever, and they were doing their thing, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, hi Lori, I'm really sorry about that." And then they just apologize, and then they just go from being super mad, and they're like, "Oh, hey, how are you doing? How's the family?" And just start talking. So it's pretty interesting. It's funny. So, but I do like the penalty box sometimes because no one can find me.
Yes, and everybody needs Lori on game nights.
Can't be bothered. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Go onto the ice? No, during play?
Can't get out. I'm like, sorry. So I just, so sometimes it is nice, and I do get to watch the entire game.
Yeah, like Ron Burgundy, you're in a glass case of emotion.
Yes.
Lori, thank you so much for joining the show tonight. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be back with Tim Gray with more Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket.
In your busy life, very little is free, but your next home might be a bit less than you think with a free appraisal from Security First Bank. Free home appraisals from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Offer valid through December 31st, 2022 on secondary market new home purchase loans only. One free appraisal per transaction. Appraisals paid for by lender at closing. Subject to lender qualifications. See lender for details. NMLS number 505011.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Here's to days spent roaming, and to sleeping beneath the stars, to casting another line, and letting time float by. From Shadron State Park to Indian Cave State Park and every recreation area, historical and state park in between. Here's to your adventures, your memories. Here's to going out and enjoying your Nebraska State Parks. Plan your next trip today at yournebraskaparks.org. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Have you ever wanted to build a catapult? Have you ever wanted to launch something other than water balloons with a water balloon launcher? Do you want to be a national champion? Then you need to get a team and sign up for the National Avocado Launching Championship, May 21st in North Platte. That's right, the National Avocado Launching Championship is taking place right here in Nebraska. Launch avocados for fame and glory. Sign up at avocadolaunching.com. That is avocadolaunching.com. And remember, the top prize is $5,000.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com. Fruitcakes are just for Christmas, right? Gosh, I feel sorry for you. I mean, what if we had done that with bacon? Bacon is only for breakfast. We'd never have bacon cheeseburgers. We'd never be able to save a salad by adding bacon bits. We'd never have Brinner. That's breakfast for dinner. Don't limit yourself. Fruitcakes for St. Patrick's Day. Fruitcakes for graduation. Fruitcakes for Thursday. Beatrice Bakery and Grandma's Fruitcakes are perfect for every occasion. Check them out in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Stars broadcaster Cristiano Simonetta on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Outside the Box on 93.7 FM The Ticket. Stars president Lori Crocker joined me for segment 1. We'll get to our guests for segments 2 and 3 in just a second, but let's thank today's sponsor for tonight's episode. It's Empyrean Brewing Company. The Icebox is excited to offer local beer choices at Stars games this year, which includes Lincoln's Empyrean Brewing Company. Their new beer, Sunslinger Extra Pale Ale, is a wheat-centered ale that is low on calories and carbs. It's also surprisingly flavorful with lemon highlights for a refreshing, easy drinking beer. Enjoy other popular beers from Empyrean like Mind Over Mango IPA and Goal Line Amber Ale, sold only at the Icebox. Cheers. Let's go Stars. And let's go Tim Gray from the Lincoln Journal-Star. Tim, thank you so much for joining me for the second time. What's up?
Not much. Glad to be here. You know, just hanging out.
And you missed the Sunday game, right?
I did.
And what were you doing on Sunday for the Journal-Star so I can yell at them for not or for depriving you of that unbelievable 3-2 overtime victory over the Tri-City Storm?
Actually, I was off on Sunday.
Never mind then.
I was
Good
at my
for you.
in-laws and eating my father-in-law's ribs. So.
Okay, so not a bad time. Were you following the box scores? What do you usually do when you're not on site but you still have to write a gamer?
So I'm kind of superstitious. So I'll watch the game center and. You know, I'm not supposed to be biased or anything, but you know, I'll watch the game center and kind of I'm like, oh, stars are down. I'll stop watching. I'll check again. It's like, oh, it's tied, and then I'll kind of get more interested. But usually I check about half an hour after I know the game's over, or check the tweets because I've got the notification set up on my phone too. Whenever you tweet, so.
Oh, that must be a nightmare. Like during games when it's just like penalty. All right, that has been killed off. All right, nothing's going on, but hey, we're still trying to tweet during the game.
So funny story about that. I was in the hospital in October.
Yes.
And I had my phone, and there was just like notification after notification, and I just shut off the notifications, and I was just like, I'm done with this because I can't do it anymore.
Of course. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for being a part of your experience, ticking you off.
It's completely fine, but because my phone was always on silent anyways, but I'd always check, and there'd be, here's a Twitter notification. I'm just like, all right, it's enough. I'm gonna go to sleep now. So, but no, it's good.
It's pretty crazy how us as sports fans, I'm the same way in a way. Like when I would watch games on VHS. I was a Mighty Ducks fan when I was younger. So the games were on the Pacific side. I'm from the Midwest. So they were 2 hours later they'd start. So it'd be 9 o'clock. My dad would let me stay up for about a period. And then he'd say, all right, that's enough. It's 10 o'clock. You're going to bed. And I was like, whatever. I want to see how the Ducks did. So then in the morning, the game would be VHS, and I'd close my eyes. And I just fast forward it and just wait. Okay, the scoreboard hasn't changed. Okay, it changed. Let's pause it. Let's go all the way back. For people under the age, and I can't believe I'm saying this as a 25-year-old, but people under the age of like 17 of VHS, no. But that it's weird how we have those superstitions. Carter, do you have those as a fan where maybe if you don't watch a game, you wait until it's completely over, or if you don't watch the game, your team is probably going to lose? Because that's how I feel a lot. I didn't watch the Patriots play the Bills, so I have no idea if that game took place, even though the Bills pumped the Patriots by about 45 points this year.
I don't know if I'd really say I'm superstitious, I guess. I mean, when I was younger, before I had the phone and stuff, if I couldn't watch the game live, I would go try to watch the recording, and not know the score. But anymore with Twitter and stuff like that, I just can't stay away from the score, so I kind of just stay up to date on it.
One of my best friends still will, and he's 25, rewinds the game. Like if he's not watching it, he doesn't want to look at Twitter. And I'm like, dude, you're going to sit down and watch the Bears get beat by 25 points when I could just save you 3 hours of just heartache. But it's weird how we do that. And Tim, that's funny that even in your profession, I know you're not biased, but you're so interested in seeing the Lincoln Stars, finish their games that you waited a half hour, you say, for the game usually to end and be like, usually, oh, okay.
Because I know it's, like if it like a 3 o'clock game, I know about 6, it's probably going to be close to over depending on, what the score is. Because some of those games, they can 2 hours. Some of them take 3.5, depending on how many penalties and stuff is. But another superstitious thing is going to Husker football.
Oh, no.
The 1 second against Texas, I had to go to the bathroom.
Explain, because for me, I don't even know what you're talking about. So explain for everybody that's watching.
So it was the Big 12 championship.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, go on.
Yep. And I was in the bathroom, and Nebraska scored. I think they took the lead, and all my friends are like, "You can't come out because we're doing really good." I'm like, "Okay." And then I think there was like timeout, and they're like, "Okay, you can come out," and they're like, "But you can't watch." So they blindfolded me. And Nebraska, everyone thought Nebraska won the game. They're all cheering, ripped the blindfold off. 1 second put back on and I'm like, that's the whole superstition thing is like, they're like, you can't watch, we're doing really good. Win the game, rip blindfold off, we all celebrate. 1 second put back on the clock.
Oh my gosh. I think the biggest example of that for me was the Patriots and the Falcons in the Super Bowl at halftime. Because I'm a big Patriots fan, even though I'm from Chicago, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know. NFL Blitz. Loved those jerseys as a kid. It was 28-3 at halftime. And again, I was of age, but there were some alcoholic beverages going through me. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna flip around my Tom Brady jersey. I have no idea why, but let's just switch up, the vibe in here. And then, the rest is history. So the only reason why the Patriots made that comeback was because I flipped my jersey around. Yeah. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Is there a situation that you can point to like that where maybe you did something, or I don't know, or am I just the crazy one in the studio?
I think last season, I don't even remember what game it was, but I know there's definitely a I'm a Packers fan. There's definitely a game that they were losing later in the season, and I was like on my team bus because we were in basketball season, and I was watching on my phone, and they were just getting beat. I don't think it was super bad, but by like a couple touchdowns, and I think it was a team that was like bad, so like they shouldn't have been losing. And all my buddies were giving me crap, so I was like, okay, fine.
It was the Bengals game?
No, it wasn't this season. This was like
last
year.
Last year, okay.
And like, so everybody's giving me crap on the bus like that. So I think I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I just shut the game off and like put it in my pocket and left it alone. And I just like put my noise cancel headphones in and just like sat there. And then I think I might have dozed off for a while, and I woke back up and they were ahead with like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. All right, like, so I don't know if I still, it's not really superstitious, but on that time I was like, well, I guess maybe it means not watching helped.
Okay,
here we
actually,
go.
No,
now I do
there
remember.
had to be one.
Now I do remember. Okay, I don't know how I didn't think this earlier. I always have to wear a jersey when I watch the game. I always.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how
I don't know how I forgot about that.
So
yes.
why? When did that start? Was that just as a kid? You were like, I just have to wear a jersey.
I think it's just when I was a kid, I'd watch games, and for some reason, like I just thought I had to like have the jersey on. Otherwise, like the team would know that I wasn't wearing my jersey, and they wouldn't play good. So that's my one. Yeah. I don't know how that slipped my mind, but yeah, I never ever watched a game without the jersey on. So.
You're listening to Outside the Box on 93.7 FM The Ticket. We're having fun, but we are supposed to, according to our contract, talk about the Lincoln Stars. No, again, we're just having fun here. But Tim Gray, Lincoln Journal-Star, we talked last time you were here about the playoffs of 2017 and 18, how cool that experience was for you covering it. Well, we're 6 games away from the Lincoln Stars heading to the postseason once again, but they pull out another miraculous is maybe a little oversaying because they really dominated the game against Tri-City, but another moment in this season that feels special to you already, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you go back to that 27-18 where they made the playoffs, but the playoff format, in the USHL, it's something I really don't agree with. I mean, I get it with travel costs and stuff like that, but that was a series where, Lincoln went to Sioux Falls for 3 games, and then they turn around and play Waterloo, and you get one playoff game and then go to Waterloo or whatnot. This is going to be a special year because, either going to lock up the 2 seed or probably the 3 seed, where Lincoln will get that first round by all 3 games in Lincoln. And then, if they get the 2 seed, they get, home ice advantage again, where they get 2 out of 3. Or, you're playing 4 games in a row in the playoffs with a 3 seed. So, it should be a special time at the Icebox.
And what's weird about, and a lot of fans probably don't know this because the league hasn't put it out yet, but I don't think I'm breaking any news. That second round, the lower seed gets game 1.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's a little backwards to me too. But you think about some intimidating buildings like Young Arena in Waterloo, if they draw Tri-City in the second round, if the Stars draw a certain team, whether it's at home against Sioux City and you're playing at the Icebox game 1, then you have to go to Sioux City for 1 game at Tyson Event Center. You take that night in and night out. So that's how it's been even back then in 2017-18. Do you remember?
I believe so. I can't exactly remember because I know the first round was all 3 games at one spot. Second round, I want to say it was the same way, but I can't remember if it was first. I think the team got to choose which.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Got to choose the series if it was 1-2 or 1-1 or 2-1 or something like that. But this format, Stars could be playing 4, hopefully not 4 in a row with, you could have the 2-game sweep or whatnot, but just having games at the Icebox, the playoff atmosphere would be great.
For you as a reporter, is there a building in this league that you like visiting the most?
I've been to Omaha. I've been to Tri-City. I had Tri-City season tickets, and that was a different time because that was when Tri-City was kind of fresh and brand new. So, they were drawing, 7,000 fans, and I think it's down to like 2,500, 3,000 now. I can't remember what it's called now, but it used to be Ralston Arena with
Liberty First Credit Union Arena, that new sponsorship. Good for them.
That's a cool building because they got the catwalk and all that stuff. And obviously when Lincoln plays Omaha, it's a different dog on the ice. So let's see. I've been to Sioux City.
Have you been to Sioux Falls?
I've been to Sioux Falls, but I've never actually been to the arena.
Okay.
So-
Denny Sanford Premier Center
Yep.
is it's just like a pro rink. I love calling games there. It's no North Dakota. No, I'm kidding. I'm looking at Carter when I say that. Fargo does have a great rink. It's built just like Liberty First Credit Union Arena in Omaha. Same design. It's beautiful. Shields Arena. We're going there actually next week for a critical 2-game series on the road. Carter, did you go to any Fargo Force games when you were growing up? Even though you're from, I know you're from rural North Dakota. So actually, give me the full scope of where exactly are you from?
Okay, so
I
I'm-
probably sound stupid asking this question.
Complete opposite corner.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, we definitely went to
I had a
Fargo.
50-50 chance.
I went to Fargo for like the Bison football games,
Okay.
but yeah, we never went to the. My family was never super into hockey to begin with, so
junior
we didn't
hockey.
we didn't really have the drive to go 6 hours to go watch a junior
6
hockey game.
hours.
So yeah,
In the same, that's again, I could point North Dakota on a map, but I think it's one of those states where, I mean, even before I moved to Nebraska, I never stepped foot in the state. Like, I don't know, it's just
I was going to ask you that question. So coming from Illinois to Nebraska, did you think hockey would be as big as it is?
no shot. And I had known Biagio Lorario, who grew up in Arlington Heights. I'm from Carroll Stream, about 15, 20 minutes. Actually, where Jimmy Garoppolo also is from. Fun fact, everybody on the show. I knew of the Lincoln Stars. I knew David Backus from my days covering the St. Louis Blues. But when you come to Lincoln, it's like, is there just corn everywhere? Like, I was that stereotypical, and I know fans will, have my head for saying that, but I called it the South, like jokingly. That's just what we were from Illinois. That's what, Nebraska, whatever, even though it's the same elevation. But you come to the ice box, and I got to experience a team that would score a bunch of goals, would fight a lot, had the most penalty minutes, had the most power play goals, and there's 3,000 people in the building. And the scenes that you see at the ice box, you really don't see anywhere else. And that's what is just so shocking to me, how unique the experience and the atmosphere is. So if you want to come Friday against the Lancers and you haven't been maybe in 5 years, 10 years, please, you got to show up to that game. It's a big one, but no shot that I think that this atmosphere would be as cool.
And it's not even that with just the Lincoln Stars, but you've got, you got the Junior Stars.
Yes.
Who just finished third in the National High School tournament. But then you've got, obviously Riker McGorty, he's got a different,
and Jake Gensel too from Nebraska as well.
I mean, he's got a different story where, he's got a key to the ice box at 8 years old, but you have 3 girls, I think from the Lincoln area, playing on the U.S. national team. You've got high school hockey all over. Like, hockey has grown so much in Nebraska, and it's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, well, being in St. Louis and covering that team for so long, you see the Kachucks grow up there.
Yep.
You see Clayton Keller grow up there. And Chicago is the same thing. Vinny Hinestroza lived 5-10 minutes from me. And all my friends, knew Vinny as the guy who was going to go pro. But, I mean, hockey was just so different. As a hockey fan in Chicago, it was probably similar to being a hockey fan in Lincoln at that point. I was growing up in the early 2000s when Chicago, the Wolves were a bigger team than the Blackhawks. And you've got that emblem on your hat, the Chicago Blackhawks. That is your favorite team in the NHL, right? So where did that come from?
So when I grew up, my dad was a Blackhawks fan, and it was kind of, the only team on regular TV that was, regularly shown for me. So I mean, and plus I'm a big goalie guy. So Eddie the Eagle was
what a guy, Eddie Belfour.
Yep, he was. He kind of got me into as a Blackhawks fan, and I absolutely hate Detroit. So and kind of stemmed from there.
All right, well, we'll talk about Tim's disdain for Michigan when we come back on Outside the Box on 93.7 FM, The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
We're looking at mostly to partly sunny skies as we go through our Tuesday. A little breezy, south winds gusting 25 to 30, but should reach up to a high of 67. 39 for the low tonight with partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow shaping up to be quite the windy one. We could be looking at northwest winds gusting over 50 and a high of around 56. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking, Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street. You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns big or small in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Junior, hurry it up in there. Honey, he's doing it again.
Doing what again?
Practicing for American Idol in the shower. I need in there.
Well, MemberZone is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We could use the value of the house to
Add a second bathroom? Say no more.
From adding another shower to all of life's in-betweens, you're headed in the right direction with a MemberZone home equity line of credit. Learn more at memberzonecu.org. Restrictions may apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Join us this Friday at Barry's Bar and Grill from 3 to 8 for a spring game preview and hangout. Our regular shows go until 6 o'clock, and then we'll have a special 2-hour session with Nebraska football players on location until 8. It's the spring game preview and hangout this Friday at Barry's Bar and Grill.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Back to Outside the Box with Rocky Russo and Cristiano Simonetta on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Outside the Box on 93.7 FM The Ticket. We appreciate you if you tuned in right at 8 o'clock or right now. We're talking Lincoln Stars hockey live on 93.7. The answer to the Great Clips question of the night, Eugene. That is the name of Lori's bulldog, Eugene, the unofficial mascot of the Lincoln Stars. And congratulations to James Berger. You have won 4 tickets to Friday night's game against the Omaha Lancers. What a big game it's going to be as the Stars will continue their hot stretch as of late after beating the Tri-City Storm on Sunday afternoon. We're live in the studio with Lincoln Journal-Star reporter Tim Gray. Tim, thank you for coming on and subbing in for Lori over the last half hour or so. Are you having fun doing it at least?
Of course, I love it. I mean, this is this is my minor in college, so it's good to be back on the mic again and love doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you said something off air that you wanted to ask me, but I want to ask it to you first. Let's just go this year. Is there a favorite moment from this season?
This year, it's got to be, what was it, a week ago? The five shorthanded goals, double hat trick. Just that entire weekend with Lucas Wallen scoring 8 goals and an assist. Back-to-back hat tricks. I mean, that's something I've never seen before at any level of hockey.
Just crazy how Wallen is on an 8-game goal scoring streak. No other player in the USHL has got to 7. He is now to 8, even with his 1-game suspension in the USHL. Goal streaks and streaks like that, when it comes to individuals, they do not end if a player misses a game due to injury or suspension, unlike the NHL. So Wallen's still on that stretch, and it's just been video game like to watch for number 3 breaking out with 27 goals. It's just remarkable.
And you say 27 goals, and I remember you and I talking a couple, when you first got here, you had Christian Sarlo and Josh Frohl and Travis Treelor, and I think there was, even the year before that, there might have been, 3 or 4 guys hitting the 20-goal plateau around that. But 27 goals, I don't remember the last guy that, when I was covering the team, or, when that might have been where you've had a guy that has scored that many in a season for the Stars.
Well, Aiden Thompson, talk about setting up goals.
Yeah.
He is second in terms of single season assists. He's tied for second. He is 6 away from tying the franchise record in a single season. Just unbelievable year that he's been having, and he has been Lincoln's most important player. 71 points. He has played masterfully over every single game. When he takes, or if he does not have his best stuff, it's more often than not the Stars aren't really gonna pick up the slack for him, just because of how much of a difference maker he is for this team.
Yeah, and I mean, to have that many assists, 50 plus, you got to put the puck on the tape, because if guys aren't scoring, you don't get those assists. So, and some of those are blue line to blue line, that he had that that shorthanded assist to, it was either Lava or Wallen.
Little chip pass for Wallen,
Yeah, and I mean, it's not a lot of guys in the league have that eyesight, or just to try that, because you're on the penalty kill, and that could easily be turned over, and then it's 4-on-2 or 5-on-2. So, it's just a special year for some of these players, and then for the Stars.
Yeah. And you want to ask me a question?
Yeah. So you asked me last time I was on, what my favorite Stars moment covering the team is. As a broadcaster, you're on the road or at home. What's one of your favorite moments that you've watched the Stars so far?
I'm obviously very, very lucky to do what I do. And over the last 3 years, we've had surprisingly a lot of really fun moments. Even in like the season last year where we struggled, Dominic James scoring in his 100th game. That kid was the heart and soul of our team last year. Getting like the fans back at 50%, like just hearing that roar when he scored that goal was big. But this year, I mean, it has to come from this year. Joe LeMay's buzzer beater in Omaha, because I, like a lot of Stars fans, hate The Heat Is On, that song playing, and Liberty First Credit Union Arena, formerly Ralston Arena. I love going there. I think it's a beautiful rink. I have a perfect eye line, sight line, just right in the crowd there. And when Joe takes that shot, I mean, I'm on the near side of that, or no, wait, I'm trying to remember. It was just that much of a blackout event. But regardless, I scan my head, know how much time's left, and I see the puck at the net. I see the green light go off about a half a second later, and me selfishly, I'm thinking about the call, and if I hit that call, like, it's what every broadcaster does, right? You want to be able to nail big moments, and I think that was one of my best calls that I had in that moment, to get those 2 points in regulation for the team, unselfishly, but selfishly for me, knowing that was a situation where I was prepared for and was ready for. It was a crazy, crazy game. Carter, you got to come to a playoff game, man. We're getting you tickets, whether it's a Monday A Tuesday, a Saturday, you have to come to the game. Because have you been to it? When was the last time you went to a game?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wait, what? Really? How was that?
Maybe it was longer than that.
Still, though. Did we win?
No.
Then never mind. You're not going. No, I'm kidding, Carter. We'll definitely get you there. Tim, we will see you there Friday.
Yep.
James Berger will also see you Friday. And get your tickets now at lincolnstars.com/tickets. Tim, thanks for joining the show.
Anytime.
Carter, thanks.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see you guys next Tuesday on Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket.